Hello, everybody. Welcome to T-Shirt Talks with Michael and Tati. Today, we have a special guest. He is a respected Las Vegas real estate expert, Aaron Granati. For over a decade, Aaron has been mastering the world of real estate, wearing multiple hats as a realtor, investor, and flipper. He's helped clients achieve their property dreams for primary homes or from primary homes to investment ventures. Outside of his busy professional life, he loves spending time with his adorable corgi, Cleo, and his incredible wife, Andrea. We all love her. Let's dive into our conversation today. Welcome, Aaron.
Thank you.
Hello. You're
Aaron's
welcome.
trying to hide the cell phone. Typical realtor.
Let's just put it away.
The phone's got to be on him at all times.
Yeah.
You got to keep it real.
I'm just waiting for it to go off.
That's how it works.
Before we start, we have to talk about your T-shirt.
Absolutely.
It's T-shirt Talks. So
Yes.
I have my Tupac Johnny Cupcakes
I raised your
T-shirt.
right.
That's a good one.
and you have Golden Knights.
Yeah, so I was going to do something funny today, but I mean, this has got to be most fitting for
Yes.
game 2 of the Stanley Cup in
Yes.
our hometown. So had to wear a Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, and what everyone
T-shirt.
didn't see before this is you were making a bet for tonight's game.
I just did it on my phone. Yeah. Yep. So got
Yeah.
the bets in.
So would you go to the parade if they win?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I'll try to, unless something comes up if I'm not busy. But absolutely. I mean, how cool would that be?
Oh,
Because it'll be the
absolutely.
first one ever in the city. I mean, you think about other cities, they've had
Uh-oh.
a lot.
The Aces did have one last year, the women's basketball, but this will be the first.
It's still the first of
Yes,
each franchise.
that is true.
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
NHL. And I think because the Golden Knights are the first hockey team we've
And
ever had.
not to take anything away from the Aces, but I mean, this is still the major top of the
for sure.
Apex, man.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
exciting. So I wanted to start off with kind of your background. So who was 10-year-old Aaron Granati?
Very different than 31-year-old Aaron Granati. I was kind of, I wouldn't say nerdy. I didn't really play any sports, so I wasn't that kid. 10, I mean, what grade would that be?
Fifth grade.
Fifth
Or you
grade?
could even do like sixth
Or-
or like middle school.
Okay, so I bounced around actually a lot of schools here in town every year from first grade through like fifth grade. Kind of always, I mean, that's my like memory of it. I know I was at, for third and fourth grade, I was mostly at one school, but then I switched. Like I would switch every semester really, or like halfway through the
Wow.
year. Yeah, I don't know. I remember being not really having a lot of friends. I still was very social. I still, was me in a way, but I was, not athletic really at all. Kind of techie, like loved computers.
There you go.
Loved video games.
Yeah.
But really up until like sixth grade, I didn't have like a set friend group. Yeah. Oh, it kind of had, I had a great like childhood, but
Right.
I feel like I fought a lot with my parents. I think like some of it was me, some of it was them, mostly with my dad, but and then sixth grade kind of in my mind and my memory of it is where like something clicked, and I was at Las Vegas Day School.
Okay.
And so from sixth grade through eighth grade, I was at Las Vegas Day School, and then went to high school. I went to Gorman. Day school was kind of a feeder
Okay.
school into Gorman. But yeah, and I was in public school and private schools or prep schools or Christian schools all from like first grade through sixth. So it wasn't, I don't know if it really mattered that it was public or private or prep or not or
Right.
whatever. But yeah, so kind of at that point in time, it felt like something clicked. I found a really good friend group. I kind of went through those weird, puberty years.
Middle school's such a weird time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had braces my freshman year, of high
Yeah.
school. But yeah, sixth grade on was like really found, I got athletic enough where I felt confident to play sports. So I started playing some sports. I was always into acting. So 10-year-old me was like obsessed with movies and
Okay.
comedy and all these things. So, I mean, I went to UNLV for stage and screen acting.
Oh, is that what you got your degree in?
Yeah, that's where I have my degree in,
I
actually.
did not know that.
A lot of people don't know that, yeah.
No.
I have it on my wall. I have the piece of paper.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I feel like Aaron was the kid like in 8th grade that had like a full beard. Like
Yes.
like 100%.
No, that's so true too.
Like,
yeah.
Or a bow tie.
Yeah.
So.
No, freshman year, I had a really deep voice already and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's 43, 44, still can't grow a beard. So I'm jealous. I have beard envy.
That's funny.
So what was that transition? Gorman in Vegas, like that's like a iconic school, even like nationally, everyone knows Gorman because of
A lot
sports.
of people do, yeah.
And then to UNLV, what was kind of your growth there? And then transitioned into, because your first job out of college was hospitality, correct?
I was a lifeguard, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
actually still was at Gorman. I got my first job, I was 17.
Okay.
I did, it was like my senior year, or I think it was junior year going to my senior year. And, so for summer. So after class, I would go down and work kind of like they would accommodate because I didn't get out at Gorman until, 2:30 or 3 o'clock. A little bit easier when you're a senior, schedule shorter. So I'd go work, 4 to 9 or 4 to 8. Not like a crazy shift or anything. But yeah, that was my first job was a lifeguard.
That's awesome.
But yeah, to answer the question, Gorman, great, amazing experience.
Yeah.
Feel super blessed, super fortunate to go there. Great friendships. I liked it a lot. It still had its moments. It's still like high school. It's still, you're still growing up. But in terms of like my memory, like looking back on it, like some of the best times of my life for sure. I think more people say like college is the best time of their life, but I both were.
Yeah.
Both were equally great in different ways.
That's cool.
Or do you still have networking friends from high school and college, especially in Vegas?
So yes. So I have both were and are super important to me, that I made a lot of connections in high school that I've kept over all the years. I had a lot of friends that went away to school.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I guess do you want me to go with like why I stayed and didn't leave?
Yeah. Or even like,
I almost went to Reno. I
I
had a full schedule to go to Reno, and then I was like crying and like couldn't figure it out, and everyone already had picked, and it was summer. It was like the summer before I started. I wasn't taking any time off. I was going to go like right into school straight away. And I like have my schedule. I was going to do PR. So I was torn. Okay. I was like, I didn't know if I was going to do acting or like what I wanted to do. I'm only 17, 18 at this point. Like real estate wasn't really, I was like too young. I'm like not really thinking about real estate. I thought maybe I'd get it at some point, but it wasn't really like a priority right now. I was still trying to like figure myself out. Mm-hmm. Still had like dream. I still think I dream of certain things, but like now as an adult, it's different when your 18-year-old self is dreaming versus now. I think
now you're grinding.
Yeah, now it's hustle or grinding now. But basically, I looked at what PR was like, and I thought it was really cool. But this is no joke. You guys are gonna laugh, but I love other languages and cultures and all these things. I am so bad at like other languages. Spanish is the only class that I got like a C-. Like I barely passed. and like I know some of it. I think I can get around, but like studying it, writing in it, another language, anything like that, like is my I'm not good at it. Definitely a huge weakness. I don't know why.
Dude, I failed Spanish, I think, in 8th grade with last name Rodriguez.
Yeah, I could. I know. Yeah,
how it was, man. I was like, I'm not picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah, it just was very difficult for me. One of the requirements up there to like take that to do their curriculum, you had to take like a full year of Spanish. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. So
that's awesome.
Believe it or not, that was like one deciding factor. I think ultimately I got over that. And the deciding factor was I had a car. I was fortunate enough. I had a car. I had a job. I was working at the Hard Rock at the time before it was Hard Rock, working at the pool. And this was before they like laid everybody off at that time. And then I went to Planet Hollywood, which was Westgate, which is now Alara. So that was my next job as like working at the pool. But I was like, you know what? If I stay here, I'll have no debt. I can go to UNLV. I had the Millennium Scholarship. So that helped. And that was kind of the biggest decider after a lot of like, especially being at Gorman, it's hard to describe as like someone who hasn't lived like my life or like had my experience of it. But it was like, I had friends going to Notre Dame.
Right.
Paid for, like the money wasn't, and people would be like, yeah, they're also privileged. Yes and no. Like yes, are there like a lot of privileged, well-to-do people like that are at a private high school? Absolutely. But is there a ton of kids that like, they're just so smart and they write their own way? Yeah, there's not everyone there. Gorman gives a lot of assistance that I think people don't realize. You can get scholarships to go there. They have the different programs to like help families that really want to send their kid there that can't afford the tuition for high school, right? So yeah, just to put all of that out there to get the context of this.
Right.
For me, I was kind of in the middle of it. I feel like, yes, I was definitely, I had good grades, but I wasn't like top of my class at everything, so they would just pay for it. But I wasn't like as well off as just like, here's a blank check either.
Right.
So my family definitely like helped, but it wasn't, I feel like I was truly in the middle. Like, yeah, like not struggling, but like definitely not easy either. Not like go do whatever you want. So being around that, I had friends that were like, yeah, I'm going to USD. Yeah, I'm going to Loyola Marymount. Yeah, I'm going here. Yeah, I'm going to Redlands. Yeah, I'm going to Chapman. Yeah, I'm, Dartmouth. There's a couple kids in my class that went to Dartmouth.
That's
so,
wild.
I mean, that's insane. Like when you hear Dartmouth, I mean, I think it's harder than Harvard, So that's what was going on in my brain where I'm like trying to just figure out. I got into other schools. I got into LMU, actually. That would have been really awesome. I did not get into USD. I didn't get into Notre Dame. My brother wanted me to apply to Notre Dame, so I did. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to get in, but I'll try it. I got into UNLV. I got into UNR. And then I got into Redlands. Redlands was giving me a pretty big scholarship, but doing the math, it was still going to be around $40,000 a year. And mind you, this was 9 years ago now, or 10, almost 10 years ago, me trying to decide.
Oh, yeah.
No, more than 10, so I'm 31. Yeah, so more than 10 years.
No, I mean, I think that's the one thing, we've talked about. One of the blessings, I think, with Tati and just giving her some freedom, like, as far as her career was staying in state and being able to graduate.
Yeah, I swore I never would.
Yeah.
Just like I worked too hard to stay in Vegas or to stay in Nevada. Right. But I did, and I don't regret it. I loved it. Yeah. An incredible experience.
So I don't regret my decision either. But those were all the things in my mind. And so I came to the conclusion, you know what? I'll have virtually zero debt. I'll still have a job. I'll still have a car. I'll still have fun. It'll still be cool. And it was honestly a really, great experience at UNLV. I met so many different walks of life. And there was so many other versions. Like, I didn't think about this before I went there. There's so many people that come here from elsewhere that it would be like the version of me, like, oh, I want to go to USD or I want to go to Arizona or whatever, U of A or even Reno, because Reno would have felt, I think, like, oh, I went away.
Exactly.
Enough, right? But there's people from, I had friends from Michigan now or Florida or, same thing, Arizona, California, all the neighboring states that came here that gave me a whole different perspective because I was just at this, private high school, didn't meet all these different kind of walks of life. So I think it was actually really good that I went to UNLV and met a lot of different people.
So do you think with that, like that's helped with your versatility in terms of being able to deal with so many different personality types, especially in our line of work?
Sure. Yeah. I think it started at that age. I was, like I said, I was always really social, love to meet people, love to talk to people, love to hear people's stories, love to connect with people about something. I'd like to think I like a lot of different things, so it makes it easier. I don't really have a lot of things where I'm like, I despise doing X activity. If that makes sense. So when someone starts telling me about something they're into, I'm usually can relate on some level.
That's awesome.
Or at least I try to. But yeah, I think it's helped a ton. It started at UNLV. Long story short, with working. Another part of this thing at UNLV was like making sure I could do the acting. So they had a program that you could audition into. Because anyone, I don't know if it, like maybe some people don't know this, anyone could just declare theater. Like you could just apply, get into a university. If they offer it in the liberal arts section, you could just be like, I'm a theater major. And for me, I was like, nope, that doesn't work for me. Because at leaving Gorman, I had gotten into, you do it early if you wanted to do it, to like be like, hey, I want to be an actor, I want to study it or go to college for it. They audition early. Everyone else decides where they're going. Like they declare like, I don't know, probably by March, you like figure out where you're going to college, maybe. I don't know the exact timing. I just remember theater though it was like the fall. The fall of your senior year, you're like you're doing auditions in October for the following fall freshman year to see if you get in or not. So that was really important. I turned down Liverpool. I didn't turn them down. I mean, they offered me and I just said like, no, I'm not going to go there. But I got into Liverpool. It's called LIPA. It's the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts. It's in England, like really prestigious. Yeah, like I got accepted. I auditioned. They liked me, the whole thing. Because they basically send a scout. I mean, it gets serious. I mean, not to like make it sound more than it is, but it's definitely not just like, hey, I like theater, I'm going to do theater.
Right.
No, it's a whole process. They take it serious. You meet with the director of the program, like they interview you and they audition you, and they look at all your tests too. So it's like kind of all things. So I got into other places, was like, no, maybe I'm not going to do theater. Then I was doing Reno, and then finally fell back to staying here. And the best of both worlds was like UNLV and test into their program, which was like a week before the semester started. So they offered auditions for like these
like late auditions.
Yeah, kind of like a late audition for, students in my kind of situation. And so I didn't know if I was going to even be able to get in to the program. If that was the case, I was going to just swallow my pride and just declare for theater or whatever. But I wanted to be in the stage and screen acting program. So yeah, I auditioned, I got in, and that was it.
That's awesome.
So how'd you make the jump from theater, wanting to do acting, to hospitality? Is it just being in Vegas for so long?
So I'm in college, going to school. School's awesome. I'm working 40 hours a week. I'd moved over to the Cosmopolitan before it opened in 2010. So I was like one of the first employees that opened the hotel. Still working at the pool. I go to the front desk. Love the front desk. Fits my personality. It's going back to meeting all those different walks of life, meeting people, giving them an experience, giving good hospitality service, all those things. I felt that for my life, I was like, I'm going to do like three things. I'm either going to do hospitality, I'll do acting, or I'll do real estate. So while I'm in school, my junior year at UNLV, I don't remember I don't think like anyone told me, go get your real estate license. It kind of just felt in the back of my mind, like, it almost felt like I have to. It almost felt like that's what my family's always done. Like, I have to get it. Or I don't know if my mom had really pushed me. Yeah. I don't know where the combo started from of like, go get your license. But going into my senior year of college, so that summer before my senior year, just finished my junior year, I think. Or it was either finished my sophomore, going into my junior. I took the whole month of July. I was working 40 hours a week at the pool, and I just studied. And at the end of August, took the test. I failed. I passed the state the first time. I missed the national by 3 questions. I went back 1 week later and passed, and then that was it.
Awesome.
I've been licensed since I was 20.
Okay.
So it was 2012. It was August of 2012.
Isn't that hilarious? Like more than half your life already?
Yeah, at this point. Yeah. So I've always been like the youngest in the room with real estate. Real estate definitely is like a older baseline average of like people that do it.
Yeah, average age of an agent is like 52 or something.
Is it really?
It's something crazy.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's still like that.
Yeah. The same thing with lenders.
Is it really?
Average age of a lender
over 45.
Yeah.
So I was like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 20 with a license.
That's how I felt when I got in lending. I was the only guy showing up in Timberland boots and shorts trying to get people to borrow money. So we had a little bit of a struggle until Professional Mike came around. So took some time.
And now he just wears white t-shirts and Nike. It's not...
We go full circle.
The Yankee hat helps a little bit, I guess.
That's it, man.
Gives you a little bit of color.
I couldn't get in for a haircut, so Had to go with that today.
So what did hospitality teach you, or like what did that season of your life teach you and help you for real estate? Because I'm sure there's a lot of...
Kind of everything. But see, it's crazy because people would be like, were you like doing this specifically? Like, did you pick all of this and be like, this is why I'm doing it? And for me, like my truth is that no, I wasn't. Like, this is just how I was. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do acting because acting is great for communicating with people. Like the whole degree is communications on steroids.
Yeah.
But like at the time, I didn't think of it that way. I just really enjoyed, I loved screenwriting. I love literature. I love doing all the work that goes into acting, the character work, the script work, everything that's with acting. I just really enjoyed it. And I had some talent naturally with it. I could project. I was good on stage. I don't get stage fright, or if I'd be nervous, but like once I got up there and I know the lines, I would just be in the scene. So I could do all that, and I'm really animated. So that was just like natural to me. It came natural to me. But yeah, looking back on it now, I'm like, wow, everything was helping, and I didn't even realize it. So it's like, yes, I'm working on the strip, working at the front desk, working in hospitality, working how business works, working how service works, working how companies work, how money works, because like it was really great. At the Cosmopolitan, you would see everything. Like at the front desk, you really see how a whole multi-million-dollar business is kind of run. Because if you work Grave, you get to see how they do all the reporting, they do all the room rates. So I'm learning all of the stuff about the hotel, about my home city. I'm getting all of that knowledge, getting paid for that knowledge, which was awesome, which I thought was cool. Then so I'd work 3 to 11 or 4 to midnight, 40 hours a week.
Jeez.
I was taking 14 credits. So I would take morning classes, and then from UNLV, I'd go work 3 to 11 or 4 to midnight. So that's how I did it. So I would get up at 6:30 a.m., do my day, do the whole thing, go to class, then go to work. And then I forget what my days off were, but they'd always change. But yeah, so all these things are all going. So by the time I was a senior, I was working at the front desk. Then I was like an assistant manager at one point. So because you can stay an agent and it's great money and it's super fun, but I wanted to keep growing. All these things are like at the same time.
Right.
Like, okay, so acting is still a thing. Like I really love it, but I did hit a crossroads where, and I don't know what order this is. I'm just spewing out just how my life all culminated. There was a point in time where I was like, if you want to do acting, I believe you need to move.
Yeah.
I don't believe anyone who's like, yeah, you could do it from here. Maybe now and like as going forward, it's going to get better here. They're talking about moving studios here and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really cool to hear all that happening for Vegas. But I still think even today, like in this certain instant moment in time, unless you're Instagram famous or you have some other draw to you, you need to go to New York or LA. And you're going to grind it out. And you need to just do that world. And I think I chose a very conservative route. I didn't take that risk. Part of me regrets it a little bit, but I'm really happy with where I'm at now. I have friends that did move, and I don't know. I'm sure they're very happy. It's not that they seem like they regret their choice either, but I just know where like my life is versus where their life is. And I can't imagine me personally, even though I am still young, I couldn't imagine still working at a restaurant or it is the truth. When you hear about like, you're just in the hospitality industry there, 1000% you are. And you have 3 roommates and you live in LA, and LA is beautiful. And there's a lot of cool spots there, but I don't know. I would never trade what I know right now for maybe I would have got on a show or not. But because it's like all or nothing.
Yep.
There's no like middle ground. So
no, it's interesting. So my brother-in-law, when he was in San Diego, young guy, he's in, mid-20s, had 2 roommates, and his one roommate worked at like some office job, whatever it was. And once he got into his early 30s, just like quit his job and moved to LA. And here he is 10 years later. And it is still that grind you're talking about. Like, he's made some commercials, he's done some cameos, like he makes enough money to live off of, but it's like, you're still working to make ends meet, and in your early 40s, man. Like, that is a grind that I don't personally have like that mentality. Like, I need to get the reward at some point.
Right. Yeah, I think I made a decision at some point where my family's here, my life is still set here, and I just didn't do it. I think it would have been, if I could rewrite some of my story of what I'm sharing with you guys today, I think I maybe would have told myself, why don't you do like a year and just see how it goes? Just do 1 year. Just do 12 months. What's crazy is I probably could have prepaid half of it. Like, I was making good money at Cosmo. At the front desk, you can work at the front desk and make 50 to 70 grand a year, including tips and bonuses and everything. So it's a very good job. I was really young that I had that job. There's people there that's their career. They work at the front desk and that's their career. So I was so happy back then too, but even now I was like, wow, that was a blessing too. That was another blessing. Like, just being able to have that job as my first like real job. And I was 20. So I went to the desk at 20, turning 21. Okay. Which is very young. Mostly everyone there is 21 and over, for sure. I'd say the average at the front desk is probably 30 or like 27.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of kids working the front desk.
It's not like you're 20 at the front desk of a major hotel.
Like, exactly. Like,
yeah,
at
you
the
could
Cosmo,
start out at like a smaller property or, off the strip and work your way. No, I was like literally like at the, main spot. I still think it's a mainstay now in Vegas, the Cosmo. So a lot of respect and love for that property. So I was there for like 7 years, 6.5 years I worked there.
And what was that pivotal moment of, I'm going to put 100% or do real estate full time?
Yeah. So we can fast forward from that. So I decided not going to go to LA. I love acting, but so I graduated, get my degree and everything. Love acting. It's awesome. Had some auditions. I mean, there was a few months there where I like flew to LA, did auditions. I tried it. Like, I saw it. It wasn't like I literally never went there. Like, I did some stuff, attempted to see like, what is this like? And then ultimately figured out I need to move. I need to decide if I'm going to move there and do it. If I'm not going to move there and do it, I'm not going to do this like hop a flight, wait for a callback. Callback's the next day, but you just flew back. You got to book another flight, fly back. Like, I think it's wild. So I put that to bed. So now I'm focused on hospitality and real estate. So I'm doing real estate part-time. I always did 1 to 5 deals a year. I was still young. I mean, I was 22 now, 23, graduated. I bought a house. One thing, I bought a house the fall after I graduated. So I graduated May of 2014, September of 14, I think I bought a house.
That's awesome.
It was a new build. It was $217,000 at the time. And I still own it. I still have it to today. We've refinanced it. So Mike's helped me refinance that one.
I've lent you a lot of money.
Yes. So no, that was a great decision. All of these things led up to putting me in a position to do it. Having the license, having a savings, having being taught a lot of financial things. So I think some people might look at me and be like, yeah, it was given to you. You were groomed, all these things, all these privileges maybe. But I feel like, I grinded it out. Like, I saved as much money as I possibly could from Cosmo. I had a great time. I still partied. I still did things, but I never overspent. I never gambled more than I could just for fun. I really focused on good habits, good financial habits from when I was like, from that job, from like being 20. So I was 21, 22, making 50 to 60,000 a year. I was still living at home. So, I mean, that was huge. I think even if I didn't live at home though, rent back then, sharing it with a roommate would have been $500. Like, I still could have swung it, and I still think I would have been able to, purchase a house.
Oh, absolutely.
So I bought a house. To answer your question, Tati, I was 26. So there's like 3 years in there where I just was living. I was still at home. I was, dating. I was, finding myself, making sure that I really want to pursue hospitality. Did I want to just go all in on real estate? I didn't really know. The market was, not what it was yet. I mean, it was better, but if, you know, in those years, I don't know if I wasn't confident enough yet. I was still very young. Yeah. You ever think the average age of a homeowner is what? 30? First timers 30? 33.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, if you don't have a sphere, I mean, I had a solid sphere, but okay, my 22-year-old sphere, that sphere is not really buying or selling a lot of stuff yet. So I'd have to meet other people. It's hard to meet people 10 plus years older than you and have them work with you. So I get to 26 to finally answer your question. I made a decision where I realized that, and this is not a knock on Vegas at all. Like, I love our city. I love everything it's done for me. Like, if I hadn't worked at Cosmo, I don't know if I'd be here. Like, it set me up for the success that I'm currently experiencing, hands down. But I realized this was always going to be someone else's glass building. That's how I looked at it. And that to me was like really powerful. I was like, this will never be mine, ever. And so, and I don't know why why I even thought about that. I think most people don't even think about that wherever they work. They'll be like, well, this isn't my hospital. You know, if you're whatever, right? This isn't my hospital. This isn't my law office. This isn't my whatever. I don't know what was inside of me that was like, yeah, like what am I going to do? My mindset was always like, I want to be Bill Macbeth. Like, I would just pick a mentor, right? Like, pick the top person and be like, well, if I'm doing it, like, I want to do it like that. And I realized, well, yeah, great. You're, you know, I have good seniority. The hours are great. I pick my own shift. I have a lot of friends. Work is really great. It's going really well. But I kind of looked at like, well, how many years of my life do I have to put in to become like a vice president or like a executive, or like you're going to be a director. Once you're a director, you're going to be a director for 5 to 7 years, or you'd have to leave. Like, what I've noticed about the industry.
100%.
Yep. What I've noticed is, and you notice this because it's funny. You would think like, how would a loan officer know this? Well, guess what? You're doing the loans for the whole city. So you meet a lot of these people. There's no one I know is like, you could work at the Cosmopolitan and like be a VP. You would have to chance your career for 20 years there, and then maybe you'll be a VP. It'd be very rare that like you're just at one place, one company, and you move up that corporate ladder. It's more of a zigzag ladder. It's not a ladder. It's not straight up and down.
Yeah, especially in today's world, man, where these properties get bought and sold. It's like new management comes in, you're integrating with property A and property B.
Well, MGM alone is like one of the biggest conglomerates, and that's like an international
for sure
company.
So I kind of realized this at, let's call it 25, so right before I quit, that, wow, I'd have to take a lesser role at the Win, and then move up one stage at the Win, and then be there for a few years, and then see where like life takes you, right? Yep. Like it's so, it's hard to like plan it out. But I don't know. I mean, obviously there's people doing it. I have friends that are having great careers in hospitality and on the Strip. But I got to that crossroad where I was like, I'm 25. I'll be lucky to be a director by my age, probably now, even if everything goes right, or even if I was younger. And directors make good money, but 90 to 120,000 a year, let's say. And again, I'm not knocking any of this. It's just this is reality. Like, this is the facts of the situation. Way more hours. You think you work 40 hours now, 45 hours as a front desk manager or an assistant front desk manager or whatever. Once you go to director, 50, 55, and you're on call. And, you know, some days will be 6 days. So you get just 1 day off a week. So it's just that lifestyle, I was like, is that for me? Do I want to do it? So in the back of my mind as well, I'm like, well, I still have my real estate license. I've kept it current every year. I did a few deals every year. So I always made, you know, at that time, houses, the average was $250 a house, right? $300. It wasn't about the money, right? Like, I didn't really care. It was more of like, what, you know, like I enjoy real estate too. Like, there's parts of the business that I really liked. It was similar. It plays into like what I what I've been learning and good at and all these things. So I had one escrow. I actually moved to Caesars for like 10 months. So I put my 2 weeks in at Cosmo. I was approached to go to Caesars in the casino marketing. So I went to casino marketing for like 10 months, 11 months. And it reaffirmed what I thought was true at Cosmo, where, wow, this is going to be way long of a road, a journey. You're going to, if you want to be a casino host, because now I was in casino marketing, so I was like learning a lot about the casino, not just hotel operations. This is a long, arduous road too. You want to go be a casino host at Caesar's Palace. Well, guess what? Everyone wants to go be a casino host at Caesar's Palace. You don't start at Caesar's Palace. Like, again, I was 25. You want to do that? If you even have the opportunity in a few years, you're going to be at the Rio, or you're going to be at Harrah's, or you're going to be at, again, nothing against these properties, but it's not like you have the best shift at the Rio. No, you're going to go work graveyard at the, you got to pay your dues.
Absolutely.
You got to pay your dues.
That's what it is, man.
You got to pay your dues. And there's nothing, I'm not knocking I'm not saying like, wow, gosh, you have to pay your dues. Like, I'm not trying to whine about it. I'm just saying, I was like, man, okay, like that's the path. Do I want to do that path? And the answer ultimately was, I don't think that path is going anywhere. I was confident enough, I'd go get a job on the Strip and figure it out. I felt I was employable. And that was really cool. I got confident enough. I wasn't always like this. I got confident enough over time where I was like, oh, I'm employable. Like, I know I could go do it. I'll put my mind to it. I'll figure out, do the steps. I'll go get a job on the Strip if I need to. So because I was 26, I had one escrow at the time. I had one deal. I put my 2 weeks notice in at Caesars at the time. And on the 15th day, I showed up at my real estate office, which I had. And that was my transition. So for me, I think the transition was less difficult than maybe other people, because already had the office, already had my license, already had business cards, I just literally plugged myself in to, okay, I guess I'm doing real estate now. And I looked at it like still having a job. I looked at it like, I'm just going to devote, I was doing 40 hours down on the Strip. I'm just going to do 40 hours for myself, or try as hard as I can. And I say this to people who want coaching, or they ask me about real estate, is I say, go lock yourself in a room and don't come out until you come out with real estate. And where I stole that from is, it's an interview with Skrillex.
Okay.
So this is where I remember it from. Skrillex was interviewed when he first made it. It might have been after he won a Grammy, or it was early in his career. And they're like, how'd you come up with this music and blah, blah, blah. Because, it was really groundbreaking, his music, right? He was one of the first, it was like a new genre almost, right? And he was been in music for many years. If you guys didn't know this about Skrillex, he wasn't like an overnight sensation. Everyone thinks everyone's an overnight sensation.
Exactly.
Nobody is.
No, it's 15 years of whatever you're doing. Anyway, he was in a band, and he talks about how they're like, how'd you come up with, dubstep or like that type of sound, or, how did you do it? And he said he was living in a loft or whatever, or sharing an apartment or whatever in LA. And he said he locked himself in his room for like a few days. Like, he'd come out just for food, and that's it. He would come out for food, hit the bathroom, go back in his room. And he didn't come out until he came out with music. And that was the statement. So now I spin it, because it's kind of the same thing. I can't be like, here's what you do to be good at real estate. Like, here's a bunch of tools about how to do it, and then you got to go apply it to you.
Absolutely.
So I think I always say that, go lock yourself in a room and don't come out till you come out with real estate or something. So that's what I did. And I did all the things I tried. I was just like dabbling in all the things. Like, let me cold call for a little bit. Let me door knock for a little bit. Let me do a mailer. Let me do marketing. Let me sit at an open house. I just did everything that, that would potentially get you business.
That's it, man. You got to do the things. And I think a lot of people, when they talk about getting into real estate, or, any kind of high ticket sales job, it is just that, man. Like you can't just walk in. I shouldn't say you can't. There are people that can walk in and they have, immediate success, but sustainable success. You have to get yourself into that mode of it's a job, it's the work. You got to build into yourself, try 6, 7, 8, 10 different methods to try to generate business, and you find the 2 or 3, 4 that you like, and that's it, man.
Yep. And also I think I set a lot of realistic expectations in our industry, especially now. And over the years, it's just perpetuated because people always are recruiting and always this. It's always 100K. For some reasons, like, oh, you're going to get in real estate, you're going to make 6 figures. 6 figures, real estate, 6 figures. Everyone thinks that too. When people say, what do you do? There's a stigma. It's stigmatized. Real estate, the industry is stigmatized. But that was not my expectation. I told myself when I quit, I was like, if I make the same money that I made working for someone else on the strip and I could do it for myself, I'm happy. That was cool. That was all that I needed. It would just free up my time. And I just was struggling with like, I don't know if it's a patience thing or this fire in me or this motivation. I do not know where any of it comes from. But for me, I was like, I don't want to still do that grind on the strip for someone else if I had this avenue of doing it for myself. And so that's what I went for. That's what I went after.
No, absolutely.
And so I was like, these were the initial goals. 60,000 a year or like a deal a month. Just one deal a month. Just one from anywhere. Don't care what it is. $50,000 piece of land or, $400,000 house. Don't care. One deal a month. And I've stuck with that all these years. So August will be 11 years I've been licensed. I was part-time for like 4.5 years of it, 5 years. And then now I've been full-time. So yeah, that's the story. I showed up, quit my job, put my 2 weeks in. I can proudly say I never got fired from anywhere. When I left Cosmo, I put my 2 weeks in, said, hey, I have another opportunity. I went to Caesars and that was it. I was just picked the plan and did it.
No, man, I remember back, like, I think 2018 was when you and I first started kind of working together. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, to see how much you've grown over the last 5 or 6 years, man, has been pretty freaking cool.
Thank you.
No, I mean, you and I have talked about it, as you've continued to develop your portfolio and now you're getting into the flipping stuff, you've maintained that kind of desire to learn and to try to build into yourself. And I think for a lot of people, when they get into real estate, especially if they have any kind of success, it's really easy, man, just to sit on the couch and not look at 100%. A bigger picture and try to do, try to actually make the most of the opportunities. Because when we're in the business, we have access. You talk about the privilege thing. You and I had very different, background as far as coming up. But at the end of the day, like, you can have privilege and not do anything with it, or you can leverage the daylights out of it, man. And you've done that, and I think people should applaud that. And I think that's kind of just my own personal challenge, I think, with people. But what was the one question you had about kind of developing the career? You have something there about flipping?
Well, yeah, I think...
Because that I want to touch on.
Oh, well, this is important too. When you give up the job too, I knew I wouldn't be able to buy anything for 2 years. So you gotta think about it was how I'm saying, like, well, this all was just happening. I wasn't really planning it. Some stuff was planned in the sense where I intook knowledge and then wrote it a way that made sense to me. So, this is the backdrop is like, okay, I had a W-2 job. I was making money. Every year that I was working, I bought one more house. So that was part of it too. I would save, buy one house. Save, buy one house. Now, I would give that advice to anybody, but it doesn't have to be a house. I would just say, save, and then do something other than just spend that money. If you want to, if it depends on what you want out of your, this gets super deep, super philosophical. Probably hard to hear for some people. I mean, I'd be upsetting. But if you don't care and you just are like happy with your life, then that's awesome. But I think I'm in our industry, and the only reason I'm coming from this place is because I feel like I constantly meet people who are not happy from something else in their life. And so then they look at real estate as an avenue to create this, whatever they think is happy. And maybe it is more money. Maybe it is the different lifestyle, having more hours. I don't know. But I think all of that just ties into my, like, how I think about things.
No, and I think one thing just for listeners, when Aaron's talking about buying a house, every year or so, where that's important is when you buy a house and you take out a loan, you sign an agreement with the bank that you're going to live in the house for 1 year. But after you fulfill that 1 year, you can go buy another owner-occupied property with 5% down. So, Aaron's talking about being 23, 24, 25. As you save that money, you can build a portfolio, man, by the time you're 30, because what was it? You were 28, 29 when you went over $1 million in total value?
Yeah.
I remember that conversation like it was yesterday. So we closed.
And I didn't even think about it like that. Like, we closed on it, and then you're like, well, congratulations, you're on paper.
Yeah.
In a millionaire on paper. I mean, I am. I guess I am.
No,
I mean, the definition of my assets minus liabilities.
I'm just saying that was one of my favorite calls to make, man. I was like, hey, man, loan funded, guess what? So, and
I didn't
you
even
were
know.
Genuinely shocked. Like,
yeah,
that was,
no, I like genuinely
that was a very pure response.
Didn't realize it because it wasn't like that was the point. It wasn't like the point. The point is like, follow the tasks, keep your head down, do the work.
Oh, man.
Be a good person.
I love it.
Like, all those things, like, that's,
That's why I have nerdy friends like me. I point stuff out like that.
Yeah. So no, that was really cool. And I've had a lot of help. I mean, don't get me wrong. My family's helped me a lot. My mom for sure has helped me so much.
I was going to kind of bring up that because we have the family dynamic, right? Like, we're a team and our family work together. Obviously, his input and support has been helpful for me to be able to achieve certain financial goals. And so for you, how has that family dynamic, family team been helpful?
So I lived at home until I was 26. So, I mean, there's sacrifices here. Like, people they might be like, wow, you're just so lucky, right? I just go back to that, like, negative, stereotypical, whatever nasty comment we're going to get, but like, oh, wow, like, it was just given to you, like, you have to stay at home. Well, no, I mean, I could have moved out, or you just think it's all peaches and cream with your family. Like, not always. Like, I internalized a lot of stuff and made it work. Like, I figured out, okay, how do I live here? How do I, like, and I'm happy. I'm thankful that my family let me. But, like you said, here's the hand I'm dealt. That was the best way that I can do it or play it. So no, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of help. I stayed home till I was 26 before I moved out. A couple of the properties my mom did help me purchase initially, and then I paid her back over time. But they were, the way real estate works is something just kind of comes up and you have to act on it because someone else will. It's a dog eat dog business.
Absolutely.
For sure. And so, yeah, but most of the properties was like, I saved up all the money that I possibly could for enough to buy it as an investment, and then move forward with that purchase as an investment.
I love that.
Did she give really good tips? Because she's been a real estate agent for most of her life.
Yeah, more than 30 years. So no, a ton. I've had great mentorship in that sense. For me, when I got into the business, the hardest part, what scared me, none of the real estate stuff scared me. Like, the laws, the legalities, the paperwork, none of that, because I kind of already had that as a background. But how do I go meet people? Like, no one walks into the store, like, no one walks into the office and is like, hey, I want to buy a house. Or like, it's not like selling anything else. If we need a phone right now, you could walk into T-Mobile. They have phones.
Absolutely.
They'll sell you a phone right there. But no one is like, hey, I need a house. And then here's Galindo Group Real Estate. And they just walk in and they're like, oh, Aaron's here? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Not how it works. So I struggled with that initially, but yeah, moved now at this point, because I need to wrap it up a little shortly. Did a lot of buy and hold. I looked it up. I've sold over 100 houses, just me. I've had 100 transactions.
Wow.
And that's a low number. Like, if we go on Zillow and like look up transactions of other like bigger agents or top producing agents, they're in like the few hundreds or thousands even. But I think what people need to know. And again, not knocking them, not taking away from them. There's a lot of, they're super hardworking and they're talented and they make a ton of money and all those great things. However, their number though, it's not like they did 780 transactions.
Exactly.
They have 5 people that all do 7 to 15 a year, or 7 to 20, let's say, a year, and it's all logged under one name. But if you look at me, I have whatever it is, 100 and something, where it's like, I've did all of those myself. So I'm proud of that. So that's all retail. So buying, selling, renting, helping someone relocating, helping someone downsize, divorce, death, right? All the negative ones with real estate too. All the positive ones, hey, we're having a baby, we need a bigger space, all of it. So I've done all that. And then I've had the buy and holds all this time. So I've learned a ton about being a landlord, about fixing things, about doing your taxes as a landlord. I had a fire in a property. So redoing, that was over $100,000, redoing that house. Total accident, just freak accident. The stove had a fire. The tenants were not, I mean, the tenants were, it was definitely their fault, but it was a freak accident. It wasn't like, they tried to put it out. It wasn't like they were irresponsible. It was literally like a total freak thing. That's a crazy phone call. You get a phone call, got to go there. Fires are nuts. Fire, it's not just a fire. It's a fire and a flood. Because how do you think they put the fire out?
Oh, yeah. And all the
they
smoke
have to flood the
damage,
house. And then the
things.
smoke. So the whole house gets damaged in some way. So I learned from that. All of these experiences has led me to a place where I felt comfortable of doing more aggressive investing. And some people will argue that flipping isn't aggressive. And flipping is, anyone could do it. And you can be young and you can use other people's money. And you don't need a lot of money for flipping. I personally think I wouldn't tell anyone to do a flip themselves until they have at least $80,000 to $100,000. And then, mind you, you're going to spend that and then you still need money to live off of. So you need just that as like the investment. So
Yeah,
just that will be for the house.
Yeah, it's not HGTV.
No, absolutely not.
No.
So,
All right.
yeah.
I have a speed round, and then it looks like, and we still have about 5 minutes.
Hey, we got time.
Well, so I'll ask one last kind of big question, then we'll do a speed round. So, what's the most fun and rewarding aspect of your job that makes you want to do it for another 10, 20 years? And then in 10, 20 years, where do you see yourself?
Wow. Okay.
It's going to get deep on you.
It's going to get deep. Yeah. Real estate, I definitely feel like I have gotten, I mean, genetically, I think I'd have gray hairs anyway. but real estate it truly is really hard. And it can be really stressful. And it is really stressful. And yes, can you make really good money? Can the lifestyle be great? Yes, it depends. I think if you get past your first few years and you're a professional doing it, you're going to have to start learning how to like balance some certain things of your life, because there's pitfalls to the business too, that you learn. You need to manage your money really well and even better than you probably did before as you're making money in real estate. But the most rewarding part of it is not the money or the lifestyle or anything. And sounds maybe cliche, but truly this is the best part about it, is when you help someone who never thought that they'd own a home, or that like how difficult or whatever their journey was on, and you're a part of that process. That's my favorite part of it. The glitz and all the shows and selling sunset and all the things, all the glitzy aspects, that's actually like the polar opposite of actual real estate. I'm almost curious, maybe you know this and this will help further my point I'm making. What is the average like home sale price number? Under 500,000? I mean, it's gone up over the years. But
in Vegas?
Yeah.
We're low 400s.
Low 400.
On a resale, 500 for a new home.
So like the overwhelming majority there's a few thousand transactions a month.
Mm-hmm.
So of all those transactions, are they that glamorous? Are they gated communities with a pool?
Not even close.
Quartz and beautiful cabinets? And brand new windows and a
Four-bed.
Porsche in the driveway.
4-bed, 2.5 bath, 4,000 square foot lot. Like that's the house. You know?
Right.
Probably
So-
smaller than that.
But I'm
4,000
saying
square
like,
feet.
And so
a lot
I
of square
think
feet.
I think what people don't realize is like, or like, just to answer the question, I guess that's what's rewarding to me is like helping. And you're not going to meet like pleasant people either in real estate. So sometimes it's not pleasant, but
no.
you're still there's usually a reason why something is happening. You know, first time home buyer, yeah, that's like fun and there's a learning curve and they're nervous and, you know, there's all those emotions. As you get into your career and you help like regular families, there's usually something that happened. And so what's rewarding for me is like dissecting that situation and like being a part of the process of helping the family figure out the correct path. So that's the most rewarding part about real estate.
So what do you
me.
think for future when you're talking, 31, next 10 years? So when you get into your early 40s, where do you still want to be practicing real estate? Do you want to be more in the flipping and buy and hold?
Yeah, I think for me, again, super blessed, super thankful. The vision that I see for myself, I'll still keep going down this path, trying to make the best decisions as opportunities present themselves. Have I had failures along the way? Yeah. There's like, we would need more than an hour to talk about them. I've definitely had a fair share of failures or things didn't go my way or, just tough conversations or losing money or whatever. I've had it happen rarely, but when someone's like, if you guys ask me like, what's the biggest mistake you made? I like, don't know. I honestly don't have any major, I don't have ones that are like life altering decisions that I made. So I don't know. In 10 years from now, I see myself owning more properties. I mean, I really truly love real estate. I love investing. I think I'm a great, landlord in that sense. Like I try to be. I truly treat it like I guess I'm going away though from what I read. Like a mom and pop landlord. It's not a lot left.
No,
they're all conglomerates. They're all big LLCs or companies or whatever. I'd like to think. I self-manage all of them.
Wow.
If a hot water heater goes out, like I'm dealing with it. I don't pay for a property manager. I think maybe if I get enough properties, then I would. I'll hire someone to do it. But no, in 10 years from now, I see myself still doing retail. I'm kind of just into all of it. I'd like to still. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm only going to be doing flipping, or oh, I'm only going to be doing this here. I'm only going to be doing that. I'm open for whatever. I really enjoyed the retail side of it. I think if I got busy enough doing flipping, that maybe I would give some of that business. I'd hire someone, or I have a team now. They're all part-time, so maybe I really try to get someone to go full-time, and then I just give them my retail business. I could see myself doing that, where like I won't even handle retail, but I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoy it. You make money at it, and it's a good living. But yeah, flipping. I mean, it gets pretty intense. The numbers grow pretty big. The people that are doing 3 to 5 flips a month.
Jeez.
I mean, we're talking if you can make $15,000 to $20,000 per deal, they're running a big business. That's $80,000 a month in profit. So in gross money, in total money, we're talking, I don't know, probably 500,000 or plus. And it moves a lot of economic pieces. I think people don't realize that.
Oh yeah,
One property,
catalyst.
you're touching a lot of lives. You got the fabricator for the countertops, you got the cabinets, you got paint, you got whatever you're going to buy from Amazon. Home Depot, right? Like it's huge in terms of like the spend on it.
I used to know the number, but there was something where every property sold like created 2 or 3 jobs in the economy. Like it's something crazy, the effect that housing has on the overall economy, because it does touch so many things.
Okay, we'll just speed on real quick. I'll just ask 5 questions. So, coffee or tea?
Ooh, it's a tough one. Coffee, but decaf now. I only drink decaf recently.
What's the point? What's the point then?
It's just ritual. I wake up in the morning, it tastes good. I like the taste of coffee. So
early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Favorite city in the world
Ooh, favorite city in the world
that you've been to?
that I've been to?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. That's tough. Well, I went to San Francisco before COVID,
And that was...
and I haven't been recently. But I mean, I think that's my favorite city. Or Manhattan. I mean, I'm from New York.
And then dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thanks, man,
us.
for coming out
I
today.
really
This was fun.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, I loved hearing all this story. There's a lot that I didn't know.
Really?
Actor Aaron. Didn't know
You
it.
didn't know that? Yeah.
That's it, man. Well, thank you, Aaron. I do appreciate
No,
it, bro.
thank you guys.
It's truly been one of my favorite things in my career to be able to call you a friend now. So we'll get some golf on the books and let's go.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Yay.